Right, Sam has been getting himself in hot water with pretty much everyone over the last few months, so I've been thinking about why, and I reckon I've worked out a big part of it. As far as I can tell, most people who are upset with him are accusing Sam of confusion or hypocrisy regarding his seemingly contradictory views. For instance, how can Sam be against critical race theory and also for Biden in the last election? How can he be against QAnon and also against Antifa? How can he be critical of the BLM riots and yet also call Trump responsible for the Capitol Hill riots? How can he be in solidarity with his audience and also refer to QAnon as being a YouTube comment thread come to life? How can Sam denounce the Capitol Hill rioters and also say that the behavior of the police would not have been different if BLM had stormed the Capitol? I get it. I don't agree with everything Sam said over the last few months, and he very well may hate Trump so much that it's skewing his worldview. But that doesn't explain why people are getting so mad at him. I think this does. Humans like people who they can predict easily. This is why archetypes are used in movies. It speeds up our understanding of the character. The hero is always muscled, the nerd always has glasses, the maiden has big eyes, the villain wears black. We take one element of that person and extrapolate that out to infer the rest of who they are. This suits our brains just fine, because it requires almost no work. Our brains are energy-saving machines, so the more assumptions they can make about the world, the less thinking needs to be done to work out what's actually happening. The problem is encountered when someone does something which is outside of the predictive model our brain had them filed away under. Our brains aren't evolved to deal with people who hold differing complex views of reality. Someone is a feminist but doesn't support abortion. Someone votes Labour or Democrat but also believes in stringent immigration checks. Someone supports Biden and also accuses his policies of causing a tsunami of wokeness flooding across America. Before the whataboutisms appear in your brain, I'm not saying that any of these stances are even slightly incompatible. There will be lots of people who actually have those blends of beliefs, but very few of them ever appear in discussions online. And anyone who does is immediately destroyed. Why is that? Firstly, having a non-typical perspective on an element of your group's ideology is often seen by the other side as weakness or a lack of conviction. It's seen as a signal that you're actually an uneducated hypocrite who doesn't know what they're supposed to believe. It's much safer to go out all guns blazing with the most extreme views possible, leaving no chinks in the armor. Secondly, having a non-typical perspective is seen by your side as a lack of commitment and identification with the shared values of your own group. If you disagree with us on this topic, then what else can't we trust you about? It's much safer for people to avoid bringing attention to themselves by holding a nuanced view, so they just adopt the group ideology wholesale. Having a balanced viewpoint essentially just makes you an unreliable ally. And this is weaponized by a third element, that the internet is just a hyper-vigilant hypocrisy dunk fest, especially on Twitter. All that most people are there for is to find the self-contradiction, closet racism or microaggression in others online, and then just highlight it with the sharpest, most emotional language possible. No one is actually concerned with discovering truth. All they want is to look slick and cool and to climb the status ladder by getting one over on someone else. My least favorite sentence on the internet is, because of your view on issue X, I can't take your opinion on completely unrelated issue Y seriously. And this is why everybody is getting mad at Sam. At least when you're out on the extremes, you get agreement from one side. But when you're in the middle, you guarantee disagreement from both. On a video I published about the Capitol Hill riots, some people from both the left and the right consider the analysis unfair, but for the complete opposite reasons. I even got a reply this week which literally suggested that a balanced viewpoint is the opposite of having a real opinion. Honestly, just bring on the robot overlords, because we f***ed it here. I don't agree with everything Sam says, but I trust him far more because he has had to do lots of work to arrive at his non-typical viewpoint. We all should be incredibly skeptical of anyone who takes that ideology wholesale. If I know one of your beliefs, and from it I can accurately predict everything else that you believe, then you're not a serious person. Sam consistently says, my mind is not made up on the specifics, and he suffers far more criticism for being nuanced than he would for being an absolutist. So it's safe to presume that he truly believes what he's saying. Sam's benefit is that this independent thought gives him a far deeper insight into situations because he can see both sides. In my opinion, his Can We Pull Back from the Brink podcast episode around the BLM protests last year was the best sense-making anyone on earth did around it. Being for or against a thing does not mean that you are universally on side with the other people who are also for or against it. In 2021, the heaviest price is not paid by the people out on the extremes, It's the moderates in the middle who get hated by everyone. The internet only seems to have one emotional volume now, and it's 11. Sadly, that causes people to retreat to these boring, tired, repetitive tropes of absolutist thinking. If you want to be a serious thinker, you need strong opinions loosely held, not loose opinions strongly held. You acquire wisdom by disregarding groupthink. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and for more uncomfortable truths, press subscribe. Peace.